Champ, freshwater monster of Lake Champlain in Vermont, New York, and Quebec. Scientific name, Champtani strophius, proposed by Dennis Hall. Etymology, after the lake. Variant names, Champy, Chow Saru, Sammy, Tatoskak, from the Algonquin. Physical description. Reports from the 19th century to the 1960s generally describe an enormous serpent. Fiery eyes, possibly hooded, glistening scales, fish-like tail, spouts water. Reports from the 1960s onward are more like those of the classic Loch Ness-like freshwater longneck. Length 15 to 50 feet, dark brown or black color, rough skin, height out of the water 3 to 8 feet, horse or snake-like head with 2 horns or ears, visible teeth, long upright neck, 12 inches thick and 4 to 5 feet long, maned, 1 to 10 humps reported, with 2 or 3 most frequently observed. Behavior, post-1960 observations. Most frequently seen in the summer, between 7 and 8 p.m., in clear weather with a calm surface. Elusive, moves by vertical undulations, leaves a well-defined wake. Aggressive and noisy, though the noise from motors seems to frighten it. Probably feeds on fishes. Distribution. Sightings have been scattered throughout the length of Lake Champlain. Clusters of sightings seem to occur at Rouse's Point, Plattsburgh, and Bulwaga Bay near Port Henry in New York, as well as off Burlington in Vermont. Significant sightings. The earliest sighting may be a dubious report from July 1819 of a 187-foot monster witnessed by Captain Crum from his scow in Bulwaga Bay, New York. In early July 1873, a crew laying track for the New York and Canada Railroad along the shore near Dresden, New York, saw a serpent with an enormous head approaching them from across the lake. The men started to retreat, but saw the animal turn and swim rapidly away. It seemed to be covered with bright, silvery scales, and it spurted water about 20 feet into the air. Its tail resembled that of a fish. A few days afterward, others saw the animal, and farmers complained of missing livestock. On August 9th, a party of monster hunters, organized by the Whitehall Times, allegedly trapped the serpent in Axhelve Bay and shot it from the decks of a steamboat they had commandeered, the Molyneux. On September 7th, railway workers, eager for the $50,000 reward that P.T. Barnum had recently offered, thought they had found the missing carcass, but it turned out to be a log. On July 30th, 1883, Sheriff Nathan H. Mooney saw a huge serpent 25 to 35 feet long with a flat, triangular head in Cumberland Bay, New York. It stood out about 5 feet above the water. Sightings continued throughout the summer. In 1945, Charles Langlois and his wife, of Rutland, Vermont, got close to the animal in a rowboat. Orville Wells watched a 20-foot animal with a long neck and 2 humps in Treadwell Bay, New York, in 1976. On July 5th, 1977, Sandra Mancy and her family were picnicking by the lake when they saw the head and neck of a quote-unquote dinosaur some 100 to 160 feet offshore near St. Albans, Vermont. She managed to take a color Instamatic photograph of the animal before leaving hurriedly in the car. The photo has held up under scrutiny and apparently shows a gray-black object at least 15 to 20 feet long at the waterline. It has a long neck, a small head, and a hump. B. Roy Frieden of the University of Arizona's Optical Sciences Center in 1981 determined that the photo was not a montage and appeared to show a separate set of surface waves coming from the object that are independent from the waves from the rest of the lake. A 1982 analysis of wave patterns in the photo by oceanographer Paul H. LeBlond gave an estimate ranging from 16 to 56 feet for the waterline length of the object. Jim Kennard and Joseph Zarinsky picked up a target using towed side-scan sonar on June 3, 1979 in Whalen Bay, New York. The object was moving at a depth of 175 feet. However, a school of fishes was not ruled out. On July 28, 1984, Michael Shea, Bette Morris, and about 60 other people watched Champ for 10 to 15 minutes from the vessel The Spirit of Ethan Allen off Appletree Point, Burlington, Vermont. It was approximately 30 feet long and had 3 to 5 humps. On August 10, 1988, Martin Klein, Joseph Zarinsky, and others aboard an air-sea rescue vessel between Westport, New York and Basin Harbor, Vermont, saw an animate object thrashing on the surface of the lake. On July 6, 2000, Dennis J. Hall obtained about 45 minutes of digital video of 2 long-necked animals in shallow water just south of the mouth of Otter Creek, Vermont. He has several videos of single animals taken on several other occasions, one as recently as October 6, 2000 in Button Bay, Vermont. Possible explanations. 1. Newspaper hoaxes, especially in the 19th century. 2. Wave effects created by passing watercraft. 3. Floating logs. 4. The lake sturgeon is still found in Lake Champlain. This fish can grow to 7 to 9 feet in length, though most are a bit smaller. The lake supported a small commercial fishery that harvested 50 to 200 sturgeons annually in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The annual harvest declined rapidly in the late 1940s, and the fishery finally closed in 1967. In 1998, the Vermont Department of Fish and Wildlife began a project to assess and ultimately restore a viable lake sturgeon population in Lake Champlain. 5. A stray harbor seal, known to colonize small lakes and rivers in northern Canada, may account for some early sightings. In February 1810, a 4-foot seal was found crawling on the ice of Lake Champlain south of Burlington. 2 other specimens were found in 1846 and 1876. 6. An evolved plesiosaur has been theorized by J. Richard Greenwell and Carl Schucker. Long-necked plesiosaurs, such as Elasmosaurus, had a large body, short tail, 4 limbs modified into paddles, a long neck with a small head, and a maximum known length of 46 feet. Their primary food was probably fishes. Plesiosaur fossils are found continuously from the Middle Triassic to the end of the Cretaceous, though there was a smaller extinction at the end of the Jurassic that resulted in a reduction in diversity. Fossils have been found in abundance in marine sediments in England and Kansas, but all continents, including Antarctica, have yielded some remains. They were exclusively marine. Consequently, a variety that could subsist in a freshwater environment would have had to undergo significant modifications. 7. A surviving archaic basilosaurid whale has been suggested by Roy Mackal and Gary Maggiacopra. These predecessors of modern cetaceans lived in the late Eocene, about 42 million years ago, and had serpentine bodies that grew up to 80 feet long. 8. Tanystropheus longobardicus, a diapsid reptile from the Middle Triassic, 230 million years ago, has been suggested by Dennis J. Hall, although it has a much longer neck and smaller body than Champ appears to have. Young specimens have relatively short necks, which apparently grew quickly as the animal reached adulthood. Its long neck was more than twice the length of its body and tail, and it apparently attained a total length of 10 feet. Found in marine sediments in Central Europe, Tanystropheus may have been a coastal swimmer that fed on fishes. In the 1970s, Hall discovered a 12-inch reptile with a forked tongue in a marshy area bordering Lake Champlain. It was sent to the University of Vermont, where it was subsequently lost. He later ran across a drawing of Tanystropheus and thought it was very similar. A smaller relative from the late Triassic, Tanny Trachellos, has been found in Virginia.